It sure gets dark early in the wintertime, huh? I exhaled up at the sky. My breath left my lips in a white fog. After we said our goodbyes to the little boy and his family, we decided to go to the lake for a while. I was hungry, and yet I couldn't will myself to go straight home and make dinner. Now that the boy was gone, I was feeling a little depressed. Kids sure are cute, aren't they? The two of us sat down on the lake shore.
Yeah.
And if other people's kids are that cute, then I bet our own kids would be super mega adorable.
Most guys would be weirded out by that statement, you realize.
Are you implying you're not like most guys? At this, Cinderella slowly turned to look at me.
Eureka.
Yes? Out of nowhere, he put a hand over my eyes. Ah! I got her! Well done, Cinderella. Huh? I brought my fingers to my lips and found them damp. How did that happen? Was that?
Now that I think about it, just 'cause we can't do it at home doesn't mean we can't do it out here.
Why would you cover my eyes for that?
Just felt like it.
But I wanted to see you kiss me.
Well, too bad. Maybe I didn't feel like letting you see.
But why?
I love you.
Where did that come from?
I'm madly in love with you. I'm crazy about you.
Cinderella?
It just occurred to me that I hadn't actually said it.
Yeah, because the boy was like, well, do you love her? And he's like, I haven't actually told her, have I?
You're always saying how much you love me, and I just nod along. Not really fair, is it? So I'll say it again. I love you. You're blushing so hard, even your ears are red.
Don't be a bully. You can't just subject me to your blindfold kink and expect me not to bat an eye. Oh man, we got 2 kinks for this boy? Gosh dang, alright, gotta add to the list. Leg and blindfold. There. Did it. It has been written.
Don't call it that. I'm embarrassed too, you know. I can't even look you in the eye. Just pipe down and listen to me for a while, all right?
All right. Aww. Yay! We got 2 Kisijis, and this is a proper closed lips on closed lips. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you so much right now. What? As soon as I fell silent, he kissed me again. My body burned hot as my heart thumped in my chest. Without my sight, I couldn't predict when he might strike again. What is he thinking? I wish I could see the look on his face. Unfortunately, all I could see was darkness.
You're a total catch, you know that. It's kind of ridiculous. The night we met, I was drunk off my ass, remember? Then I threw up and made you clean it. Nobody in their right mind would want to clean up puke, much less someone else's. But you did it without a second thought. And I said all those dickish things to you. Called you Poverty Jane and stuff. Even though you were a rich girl, you didn't even blink when I talked to you like you were poor. You're just too generous, you know that. I was an ass. Most people would have broken off the engagement right then and there. But not you. No, you kept on entertaining my silly whims. Every day you'd work at the cafe, then do our chores in your free time. You even managed to win over my oddball brothers. You remember the first thing you ever cooked for me? That stew. Damn, that stew was good. I was never planning to eat your food. After all, I figured you were just here on a whim. that you'd get bored and leave sooner or later. Even when you were dead tired after a long day of work and chores, you would wait all night for me to come home so we could eat dinner together. I knew about it, but I didn't want to get too attached. But that night, when I got curious and tried your cooking, I couldn't believe how good it tasted. That was the moment I saw you as more than just some rich girl. I mean, even I can make stew, but yours was special somehow. For a rich girl, you sure don't act like one, do you? Sure, you look like one at first glance, but you're so goofy and chatty. And aggressive. Quirky, to say the least. You even took a hit for me. And afterwards, when you yelled at me to go and apologize, you know what that chick said to me? She said it made her feel worse. That you sent me not because you felt sorry for her, but because you wanted me to see that I have worth. Good grief. I can't tell if you're a monster or a saint. I mean, who comes up with this stuff? And why be so indirect? But now, thinking back, you really understood me as a person. You figured it wouldn't be enough to just say it, right? That I wouldn't believe you. Well, congrats. You were exactly right. Back then, I wouldn't have believed a word you said. The truth is, I'm scared and insecure at all times. And I want something. You saw through all my immaturity and selfishness, and you stayed with me anyway. You put my needs first. Who wouldn't fall in love with you? You're sweet and adorable, and everyone knows it. But there's more to you than that. You're crafty and conniving, and you know how to reel me in. But at the same time, you always keep your guard up. For a while, I thought you were trying to manipulate me. But then I realized just how much you pay attention. How much you care. How much you do for me. How much you really get me. I couldn't tell you exactly when it was that I first started loving you. One minute I didn't, and the next minute I did. And even though I wasn't your boyfriend, I found myself getting pissed off whenever I saw you hanging around other guys. I wanted you to myself. You realize half our male customer base only shows up to see you, right? Yeah, I guess you probably already knew that. Your sense of intuition can be scary sometimes, you know. And yet you'll act like you don't have a clue, you sly fox. I was tempted to go around telling them, "Paws off! She's my fiancée!" And I wanted to tell you to quit smiling at him. But I couldn't. Because I'm a coward. I love you, Eureka. I do. I love you so much. More than anyone. I want to be with you forever. Real talk, I wish I could hold you all the time, and kiss you and touch you. I'm a selfish ass, remember? That thing you said about us having kids. I thought about that too. About what our life would be like if we got married. Personally, I hope we stay in the newlywed phase forever. Every day I want to wake up, eat your delicious cooking, explore the town with you, laugh with you. Maybe we'll fight sometimes, but afterwards we'll kiss and make up like nothing ever happened. On our days off, we'll go on dates, and we'll celebrate our anniversary every year. We'll put on some fancy clothes and go out to eat at a nice place. It won't kill us to treat ourselves every now and then, right? And whenever we finally do have kids, I want to make sure we set aside private time for ourselves. Of course, we'll spend lots of time together as a family, too. I'd love to go on vacation together. Or maybe we could pack a lunch and go on a picnic. That would be fun. Does that come as a surprise to you? Anything's fun as long as I'm with the woman I love. And I want to make memories with you. Besides, I want to take the kids to as many different places as I can. I want them to have fun. They can take lessons in whatever they want, too. And once they find their calling, I want to encourage them to pursue their dreams. If you ever need someone to talk to, I want you to come to me first, and I'll do the same. What else? Let's see. I want you to stay beautiful no matter how old you get. Remind me what a lucky bastard I am.
Damn, that was quite the speech, sir. How long did you rehearse that? At this, finally, Cinderella pulled his hand away. Actually, I don't think he rehearsed that at all. I think it kind of just hit him after he got cornered by the little boy and her about, well, do you love her? And he's like, damn, I actually do, don't I? Did I even read that? At this, finally, Cinderella pulled his hand away. I got caught up in the moment. I'm sorry. I slowly opened my eyes and he met my gaze. Cinderella.
After all that, it kind of sounds like I'm proposing, doesn't it?
He smiled sheepishly.
Your eyes are so beautiful, I can't handle it.
He slowly leaned in, and my heart raced as I felt his breath against my skin.
Close your eyes for a bit.
Okay. I closed my eyes again, and felt something warm against my lips. And so we exchanged the world's softest, sweetest kiss. That's very Princess Bride of you both. I love it. We? Oh, okay. You and me. Gotcha. I'm like, we? Oh, okay. It's us. The two of us.
Thanks for coming!
Once we saw off the last customer, we brought in the sign and flipped the plaque on the door to closed. Phew. Today really took a lot out of me. I stretched my arms wide. Sadly, it wasn't enough to shake off all my built-up fatigue.
Agreed.
Cinderella flopped down into a chair looking rather exhausted himself. You worked really hard today. I'll make you something to drink.
No need. Just get over here.
Oh, okay. He waved me over, then pulled me into a big hug.
This really helps me recharge.
Likewise. Lucky us, huh?
Yeah. During the day, we have to deal with customers, and during the night, we have to deal with Alice. All I ask is for one little moment I can spend holding you.
That reminds me. We haven't done any glass crafting in a long time, have we?
Nope.
We'd stopped doing those glass crafting lessons shortly after the day we confessed the truth to each other. Mainly because we'd been too busy with other things, of course. Still, I couldn't help but miss it.
That said, you're not allowed in my room anymore, got it?
Are you making a glass engagement ring? Because that would be really cute.
You're a lady, and I'm a guy. You see what I'm getting at, yeah? Anywhere there's a bed, my mind's gonna wander, and I can't promise I'll stop myself like last time.
It's fine. I trust you.
That's the cruelest thing you could possibly say to a guy.
True. Cinderella exhaled. But I could tell it was more out of exhaustion than disappointment. Have you been getting enough sleep? No, he's been working on a thing for you, probably, late at night.
Of course. What about you?
Yep, I've been sleeping like a baby.
Now that the boys are gone, maybe we could sleep in the same bed for once.
There's still Alice to worry about, remember? Also, you literally just said I'm not allowed in your room.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Is he zonking out? He might be zonking out. As I listened to his slow, steady breathing, I giggled and stroked his hair. If he's that tired, then I may as well let him get some rest. The past few days I'd been so happy. Almost too happy, really. After we revealed our true selves, we confessed our feelings for one another. No matter how hard the struggle, as long as we had each other, we would make it through. And from here on out, we would live happily ever after. Or would we? Is this really how it ends? Oh, come on, girl. I was all ready to be like, yay! And now you're like, maybe your feelings earlier were justified. GirlGotGame, maybe. There's still so many problems we have yet to resolve. Cinderella's dad, the debt, and worst of all, my parents. There's no way they don't know about the debt. Sure, our dads are old friends, and my parents in particular are pretty hands-off. But even then, I can't imagine they'd let me marry someone without doing their homework first. Is it possible they're going to let me have the final say?
What are you thinking about?
I snapped back to reality to find Cinderella squinting at me suspiciously. Oh, nothing. Come on, it's time to make dinner. I smiled evasively.
Don't dodge the question. It's your parents, isn't it?
You've learned how to call my bluffs, haven't you? My smile tensed.
No shit, genius. I always pay real close attention when it comes to you.
It's actually really important to consider the other person's thought process when you're trying to get to know them, isn't it?
Pretty much. Just goes to show how much I love you.
And I appreciate that.
So, let's hear it.
Looks like I won't be able to wriggle out of this one. I heaved a sigh. Yes, you were right. I was thinking about my parents. I basically ran away from home to be here, after all. I was desperate to learn more about you, so I didn't bother to get permission. That said, they know I'm here, and if they had a problem with it, I'm certain we'd know about it by now, but still.
They know? In that case, they probably know about my dad, huh? You know, I always wondered about that. Pretty sure anybody could find out about our debt with a little digging, and yet they seemed totally willing to hand off their only daughter.
After a moment of thought, I looked up. Maybe we should go visit them.
You want to go visit your parents?
Yeah. We can explain everything that's happened. That way, maybe they'll understand.
I don't know about that. We were basically trying to con you people.
But things are different now, right?
Yeah.
If any of this came as a surprise to them, I'm sure they'd be angry. But if they knew, then there must be a reason they didn't say anything. Maybe they'll tell us they're opposed to our relationship. But if so, we can just cross that bridge when we come to it. At the very least, it's more productive than leaving things vague. Gotta stay positive. We won't know until we try. Of course, I'm not going to force you to do this if you don't want to. Cinderella fell silent for a moment, then smiled.
You're right. I ought to apologize to your dad in person. Okay, I'll go. And I'll tell them everything that's happened.
And then we'll have them officially sanction our relationship. Happily ever after.
Happily ever after, huh? For the record, that limey loser is just a friend to you, right?
He fixed me with another suspicious look. How many times are you going to ask me this?
Look, I just want to make sure, all right?
If you want to be jealous, then knock yourself out.
Wish you'd return the favor sometime.
I hope you aren't planning to do anything that's going to make me cry, like cheating on me. Or cheating on me.
Trust me, you're the best I'm gonna get.
Yeah, well, right back at you. There's no one I could possibly want more than you. Kaguya is my beloved servant. He's a close friend, and I think of him as family.
Okay then. What about me?
You're my boyfriend, duh. Satisfied with the result of this interrogation, he gave me a hug.
This is how we get our happy ending, right?
Yep, I couldn't possibly ask for more. I'm scared. Oh, I'm so nervous. Oh, what's gonna happen though? And so our weekly day off rolled around. Today we were going to visit my parents' house. Humming to myself, I packed up my luggage to bring it home with me.
You're in a weirdly good mood. You could stand to be at least a little nervous, you know.
Don't worry, Cinderella, I'm being nervous on her behalf. I am nervous.
If you are, you sure don't look it.
I don't? I'm not sure what I look like to you, but my heart's practically pounding out of my chest. Well then, wanna check my pulse? I placed a hand against my chest suggestively. Girl, bedroom, Alice! Get in here! I've been flicked. Ow! In response, he flicked my forehead.
Don't sell yourself short. Otherwise, you'll lose all your mystery.
You menfolk like to be kept waiting, is that it?
It's hotter that way, yeah.
Just checking, but... am I hot?
If you weren't, I wouldn't have fallen in love with you.
Well, then that's a relief. That's one good thing about marrying somebody who's all about the shiny things. You gotta look pretty good if they fall in love with you.
In fact, you're so hot. I might just give in to temptation one of these days.
I look forward to it. At this casual reply, Cinderella shrank back slightly.
You're more dominant than you look, aren't you?
And you're surprisingly submissive.
Bite me.
Aw, don't be like that. I'm saying we're compatible. We complete each other.
Yeah, I guess so.
At least if it makes you feel better that way. We'll just phrase it that way. Once I finished packing up, we were on our way. You know, it's strange. Just a month ago, I was headed down this road in the opposite direction. And now I'm walking back with Cinderella at my side. As we walked, he kept looking off into the distance for some reason. Curious, I followed his gaze to find him staring at the boutique we visited in the past. Are you feeling the urge to shop again? I turned my attention to him. His expression was blank, which made me nervous.
Nah. You're all I need these days.
Just me?
Yep, just you.
Well, aren't you romantic?
I only said it 'cause you made me.
So, how many points is my smile worth today?
120.
That's enough to buy him. Woohoo! I broke 100! And just in time for our happy ending too. Let's go! I took his hand in mine and hurried off down the road. Let's go! And so we arrived at the family estate. Talk about a sight for sore eyes. Well, here we are.
You guys must be loaded.
Cinderella stared between me and the house. I wouldn't go that far. My gaze wandered over our big, pretentious gate.
I guess there really is such a thing as a humble rich person.
Technically, we're not rich, just upper middle class. I knew this distinction wouldn't make much difference, however, so instead I just laughed it off. So, what kind of house does your family have?
A big mansion like this one. It's got this ballroom, and back when I was little, when we were still well off, we'd always throw these big parties.
Ooh, parties! They sound a lot richer than us, for sure. Well, at least they used to be.
Everyone would show up wearing fancy clothes, and they'd all drink and talk and dance. Each party felt like an old-timey ball, like the sort of thing you'd read about in a picture book. Classy and glamorous.
He smiled wistfully. But you were a kid, right? What did you do during the parties?
Not much. My parents were always off talking with the guests, and there weren't any kids my age to play with. But I always dreamed that someday, when I was all grown up, I'd go to parties all the time too.
So that's why you used to throw them every weekend, huh?
Pretty much.
I get it. He just wanted to make his childhood dreams come true.
A dream is a wish your heart makes.
After all. Well then, my good sir, do you have a dance partner for this evening?
I've got someone in mind, but I haven't formally asked her yet.
Is it me? I gestured to myself hopefully.
Who else would it be, genius?
To be honest, I've never gone dancing before.
Then allow me to be your humble escort. Just don't step on my feet.
I won't, I promise.
Good.
Are we dancing? Okay. Curling my finger around his, we exchanged a pinky promise. Yay! I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
As our hands pulled apart, a familiar face appeared at the door. Oh, hi, Kaguya! I'm home! I waved at him. Hello, Kaguya. It's been a while again.
Hello, Poppet. Welcome home. And hello there, Cinderella. Hey.
Is Dad home?
Certainly is. Shall I fetch him for you?
No, that's okay. Come on, Cinderella, follow me! Do we get to see Mom and Dad? Because it'd be kind of nice to see. Here you go! I set a cup of freshly brewed black tea on the coffee table.
Thanks.
My dad should be here any minute now.
Cool.
I took a seat next to him and peered up at him. He was fidgeting and staring at his hands. Judging from his half-hearted responses, he's completely distracted. Are you nervous?
You could say that.
He gave a self-deprecating laugh. Normally, he wouldn't be caught dead admitting something like that. I giggled. In that case, how about I talk about myself? Maybe it'll help you take your mind off things. There are 4 people in my family. My mom, my dad, my older brother, and me. And everyone but me is a hunter. Yeah, you mentioned... That was mentioned. Not you didn't. You didn't mention it, but the shady guy did. You're hunters. You have an older brother. Interesting.
Sounds like they'll hold me to pretty high standards, then. This is just making me more nervous.
I know, and I'm sorry, but I wanted you to know up front so you can be prepared.
A family of elites, eh? You must all be really smart.
We're well educated at the very least.
Are you gonna be a hunter someday too?
Nope. I don't have any plans for the future except for getting married.
That's it. And how do your parents feel about it?
They told me I'm welcome to live my life however I choose.
Good thing they're understanding.
They really are. Which is why I'm sure they'll approve of our relationship.
Yeah? Most guys would balk at this, you know.
You think so? But my brother's inheriting the family legacy, and my parents are so busy that they're hardly around.
Right. So you live here with your brother?
No, my brother's got his own place not too far from here. In this house, it's just me and Kaguya most days. At this, Cinderella's tone changed completely.
Just you? And Kaguya?
He turned his entire body toward me and looked me directly in the eyes. The look on his face said, excuse me? Yep. I nodded firmly.
Any other servants?
Nope. He squinted at me suspiciously. I can't blame him. I'm telling you, there's nothing going on between the two of us. He really should know this by now.
There better not be.
Are you mad about this?
No, I'm not mad. I'm jealous. I'm not some pure-hearted saint who can just accept his favorite lady living alone together with some other guy, servants included.
I stared back, mouth gaping like a fish as he ranted in my face.
What? Are you sick of my jealousy issues?
He pouted sulkily. I love you so much.
What? Where'd that come from?
I want to give you a big hug right now, but I guess I'd better behave.
Behave?
You don't realize this, but I love you even more than you think I do. I do try to keep it together on the outside, but whenever you make these adorable comments, I start to lose it.
Eureka.
Oh, it's Dad!
You two sure seem to be getting along in here.
Dad! The two of us jumped to our feet as my father walked into the room.
Oh, nice to meet you, sir. My name is...
But my father cut him off.
I know all about you, Cinderella. Thank you for taking such good care of my daughter.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Dad knows about everything that happened. Cinderella seemed to realize this too, because he froze partway through bowing.
It was no trouble.
Have a seat now. Let's chat for a bit. I have quite a few questions for you.
Sure.
And so we all sat down on the sofa, drank our tea, and had a lovely time. Just kidding. Yeah. The awkward silence that hung in the room couldn't have been more suffocating. As a hunter, my dad naturally exuded authority. On top of that, we would now have to tell him everything we'd been doing, as well as explain Cinderella's family situation. Personally, I didn't find my father to be that scary, but this was Cinderella's first time meeting him, and he was likely feeling rather pressured. Sure enough, when I glanced over at him, the look on his face told me he was completely overwhelmed. But before I could come to his rescue, my father cut in once again.
You've really grown, you know that. I'm not sure if you remember, but we met a handful of times when you were still a boy.
What? I couldn't stop myself from responding to this. My dad met Cinderella when he was little? Nobody told me we had the childhood friend backstory enabled. Think of all the romantic potential. Personally, girl, I'm kind of glad it's not there. I need a break from the childhood friend backstory. That is like everything in the other game, so a break is appreciated. Maybe the two of us first met as kids only to reunite as full-grown adults. That's a classic!
Oh. Sorry, I don't...
Evidently, Cinderella hadn't the faintest recollection of this. Oh well, life doesn't always work out the way we hope.
No surprise there. You were a small child, after all. Would you mind if I had a cigarette?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Dad! I scowled at him.
All right. Sorry.
He reluctantly put his pack of cigarettes back into his pocket. I had a deep respect for my father, but the one thing I couldn't stand was his tendency to light up at every occasion. That said, it was clear now that he wasn't quite as composed as his external facade let on. With his hands now idle, my father folded them together and let out a breath.
I don't like beating around the bush, so I'm just going to be straight with you. Do you love Eureka?
I do.
Good. Eureka, do you love him?
This time he turned the conversation to me. Yes, I do. I nodded without hesitation.
I see. Well then, it sounds like you two will move forward with the marriage talks, yes?
Oh, that was fast. I'd assumed he was planning to interrogate us about the whole family debt thing and the living together before marriage thing. All at once, my expression softened and the tension in my body eased.
Well,
Frankly, when the topic first came up, I debated putting a stop to it. Family friend or not, I had only met you a few times many years back, and my daughter had only just turned 19. All this time, I worried it wouldn't be right to force two young people together just to suit the whims of their fathers. You see, my daughter has never been the fussy type. She's always accepted the decisions we've made without complaint. And while this has generally made our lives a lot easier, I could never be sure how she actually felt about things. Some father I turned out to be, eh?
Dad, I never knew you felt that way.
Naturally, I had a feeling she wouldn't say no if we asked her to go through with the marriage talks. But this time the decision wasn't ours to make. Supposing the engagement was made official, things would only get more complicated from there. The two of you would start living together, and who knew if you'd get along? That's why I started the conversation with a photo of you. Sure enough, she didn't refuse. On the contrary, she dashed off to go find you, to evaluate you. And apparently she fell for you at first sight. Do you know why it is that I let my beloved daughter stay with you for a full month?
Cinderella didn't respond, so my father continued.
It was a test run. I wanted the two of you to live together. And if all went well, I was prepared to bring you into the family as my son-in-law.
son-in-law?
Correct. What do you say, Cinderella? Can I adopt you as my son? I like to think I have a decent understanding of your background, and I'm certain I can help you.
You mean...
Precisely. I hear you've been struggling for a long time now. I don't envy that. Well, not to worry. I'll make sure you're provided for. If it's financial aid you require, my coffers are as good as yours. Besides, you two are happy with each other, are you not?
He glanced at me. The look on his face seemed to say, "Behold, the perfect solution!" And actually, I was inclined to agree.
I can't be your son-in-law.
Yeah, I knew he couldn't under those circumstances. He couldn't take the easy way out. Nope, and I honestly respect him for it. What? Did he just decline the offer? Dad, I think maybe Cinderella needs some time to think about it. I turned back to my father with a smile, hoping to conceal my inner panic.
Really?
Yes, really! You never said anything about this adoption thing before. Besides, Cinderella's the heir apparent to his dad's estate. If you take him in, he'll have to give that up. I don't mind marrying into his family instead. Either way, it's something we need to discuss. I needed to take control of where this conversation was headed. Otherwise...
That's not the issue.
Cinderella cut in, almost as though he had seen right through me. Oh, right. Of course. I've never been able to pull one over on Cinderella. Not once.
What's the matter? You don't sound too enthusiastic.
Cinderella fell silent and hung his head. Cinderella? Nervous, I called out to him. After a moment, he looked up again. He turned to my father and said,
I have no intention of marrying Eureka.
What?
Is my daughter not good enough for you?
Don't get me wrong, she's a wonderful woman. I simply don't plan on getting married.
You're lying!
Which is it?
I'm not lying. I never once agreed to the marriage talks, much less the marriage itself.
What?
I only came here to apologize for everything, and to escort your daughter home. Nothing more.
Where did this come from? I grabbed his arm, but he pulled away from me.
Eureka! Calm down at once!
At my father's insistence, I let go of Cinderella.
Can you explain this to us so we can understand where you're coming from?
Yes, sir. As you know, my family is in debt to the tune of an exorbitant sum that we can never pay, even if we never took another day off in our lives.
Your father's debt, correct?
Yes.
Well then, there's no need for you to pay it off, is there? Assuming you cut ties with your father, of course. Besides, we have enough money to support you for the foreseeable future. If you joined our family, I'm sure we could ease your burden.
I admit, it's an attractive offer.
I think so too. What's to dislike about it?
I just can't accept it. I tried to take advantage of you and your daughter. I built a relationship with her with the sole intention of getting your financial support.
Yes, I know. Like I said, I have a decent understanding of your situation. Just to be clear, does my daughter know about it?
Yes. I told her everything, and she has graciously forgiven me.
I see. Then what's the problem? If my daughter has accepted it, then so will I.
I just don't think we'll be able to make the relationship work. I'm a loser. When I'm with her, I get so insecure. I feel like I get more and more worthless with each passing day.
I thought you said you love her.
Truth be told, I'm not so sure. I can't help but think maybe I only love her because she's nice, or because she's rich, or because she's convenient to have around. And if so, then I can't possibly marry her.
That's not true!
You may have a point. At the very least, the way things stand now, I don't see the relationship lasting very long.
Dad!
I'm just not confident I can treat her right. So I'd like us to pretend this marriage discussion never happened.
I see. That's a shame.
Wait! Please, wait, please! I dashed down the stairs, chasing after Cinderella. No matter how loud I shouted after him, he refused to look back. Why? I thought you said you loved me! My voice shook with bitter frustration as I screamed at him. At last he came to a stop.
I do love you. Which is exactly why I need to let you go. This magic spell was never meant to last, Princess. You and I both knew this going in. We knew this wasn't going to last forever. No. Not just us. Everyone knew. Your dad, my dad. That's why they never stepped in to interfere. But the wizard's spell will fade, and once it does, I'll have to pay the price.
Wait, what? Hold on, wait. Oh, wait a minute. I have so many questions. I mean, this whole thing makes sense of like, no, if I found something that I truly value, and before it diminishes into nothing, I don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna leave before I taint it further. That all makes sense with the whole narcissism trope. I'm 100% on that. Where are you coming in with this wizard spell thing? Hold on a second. I mean, I kind of thought he was responsible for this whole shenanigans, but are you saying, like, you willingly went into that arrangement? Maybe? Does that mean it's the same thing for each of the guys? But the wizard has a root, so how does that work? Oh, I have so many questions. No, I'll pay it! At this, Cinderella fixed me with a pained smile.
I appreciate the offer, but that wouldn't be right. You know I'm a total loser. Now imagine how pathetic I'll be if I mooch off of you and your family. I'll only get worse. I'll resent myself for being powerless. Then I'll start wishing I was dead, and it'll snowball from there.
Yeah, it's true. Like, if she steps in and just fixes all your problems, you're just gonna feel like, yeah, useless, basically. Like, you are trying to take responsibility for what happened to your dad, and only you can do it. So I understand that. I get it. It just sucks. This part of the root always makes my heart break, but I understand it.
But now, with your help, I've finally found the courage I need to face reality. That said, I don't know how long it'll last. It feels like I'm walking on thin ice. One wrong move and I'll be in over my head.
So what? We can just work through it together.
As long as we're together, we'll never reach the surface again. As long as you're with me, I'll just drag you down.
I don't care!
Well, you should! Because I do! Remember when I told you I was thinking about what it would be like to marry you? All that was just a fantasy I had. A silly dream. I'll never be able to buy you fancy clothes. I won't have money to shower you in gifts or your favorite treats. And I won't have the money to spoil our kids either. Money ruined my life, but we still need money to live. I know that more than anyone in the world. So I'm begging you. Please don't enable me anymore. Don't let me stay a loser forever. Don't make me hate myself, okay?
Cinderella, can't I do anything to help shoulder your pain?
It's not your burden to bear.
So what's your plan now? Are you just going to go it alone? Without Snow White or Gretel? Without me?
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm a handy guy, you know? I can do anything I put my mind to.
Then why?
Eureka. I know you want me to be happy. But I want you to be happy too. Your happiness is my happiness.
That's not fair. How am I supposed to argue with that?
It's for the best. I'll never make you happy. I know that. That's why I wanted to bring you back before the clock struck 12.
What about my love for you? You're just going to abandon that too?
You're a good woman. There'll be plenty more fish in the sea.
I don't care about the other fish. I only want you.
My time has run out, and I have to go home. Farewell, princess. Thank you for making my dream come true.
And with that, he turned back to the door. Wait! Cinderella! I started after him. Ah! But I lost my balance and toppled to the ground. My shoe! The heel of my shoe had broken clean off. Ah! I tried to stand, but a sharp pain shot through my leg. Well, that was convenient. Meanwhile, Cinderella walked out the door, leaving me behind. Cinderella! Wait! Please! I still want to be with you! I don't want to let go! Not now, not ever! Why are you so dead set on letting me go? And so my beloved disappeared from my life completely.